You are listening to the award-winning WHCM 88.3 FM Harper Radio, broadcasting from the Harper College campus in Palatine, Illinois. You are listening to Streaming Verse with Chris and Nina.
Hello. We haven't mentioned this in a while, but our theme song is Oat Milk by DJ Double Dip. And you can check him out on SoundCloud, and now he's on Bandcamp as well.
Ooh, yeah. Awesome. I love this song. I missed it when we weren't here. I needed it.
I need this. We need to talk about YouTube. I'm just going to throw that out there right
Okay.
now. So, thanks for everyone who's listening right now to WHCM and Streaming Verse. We are also on YouTube Live. You can go to Harper Radio channel, look for videos, and this is where oh, there it is. Okay, so when you're on the home screen for Harper Radio, once we're live, you can see a little icon, but before then, you cannot. So there's no way to intuitively figure out where we are.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? Like, when you go to videos, we're not there.
Right. Yes.
So,
comment on YouTube. Come join the conversation. We're also, I'm just going to plug everything that we're on right now. We're on IMDb as of this morning, and Letterboxd, and Twitter at streaming_verse, and it's all the same username. So follow us on everything.
And soon to be, I'm guessing,
Instagram.
Yes,
that's
we'll
coming
get that
soon.
one going.
For some reason, I was like, yeah, we can do Instagram, and I was gonna do it, and then I was like, but I want to make lists with TV shows.
Right.
So I just skipped right ahead to something else.
Let's move past that quickly.
I know. I don't know what I was doing. Oh, man. All right. Once again, you are listening to Streaming Verse with Chris and Nina. Quick reminder, the thoughts and ideas presented on this show are our own and not necessarily reflective of the opinions of WHCM, Harper College, or its Board of Trustees.
Breathe.
I know. I don't know. I was holding my breath after that.
It has been a monumental day. I just want to start the day by saying it's impactful that the Queen of England has passed away.
Yes.
She was queen for 70 years.
Mm-hmm.
In my lifetime, I've never known there to be another ruler. I mean, obviously in your lifetime as well.
Yeah.
But 70 years is a long time.
That's crazy.
And to think that we're going to go from saying the Queen, as we've been saying for decades, to the King, it seems weird. King Charles seems wrong. And I'm not. It's not a political statement. It's just
right. No, I get it.
What happened to the Queen?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, me just being me, I don't like being like king. Like without a queen, that's weird.
Yeah.
But unless it's King Valkyrie, which, you know.
Well, Queen Elizabeth did give her permission. It's her wish that Camilla be called queen.
See, I don't even know who that is.
That's his wife.
Okay, great. Okay. So I'll just, that makes a lot of sense. My brain just didn't put two and two together.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's the other thing that Nina and I were talking about before the show. Neither of us are big watchers of anything Queen related, we have figured out. So all the movies and TV shows about Queen Elizabeth, we have collectively watched zero in this room.
Yeah.
We've got none. However, I do know, just because I am somewhat up to date on the Queen Elizabeth saga of what's happening there. Yeah, that's Princess Di when you saw Spencer. That counts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you saw...
And I saw Diana the musical.
Okay, see? That counts.
Okay, never mind.
All right.
Retracted statement.
So you're aware of that's who Camilla is? Who he was already having the affair with during Spencer.
Yes.
And he ended up marrying her.
Oh, wait, this is the dude
Yes. Oh, yeah. All right, Nina is catching up to the events of the day. You need to have the camera on you right now as you're figuring out
This lost look in my eyes.
who is now the King of England.
Okay, I don't like that. Wait. So, Princess
Charles.
Diana should be queen.
She would be queen if her and Charles stayed married, yes. And she lived, yes.
I hate this.
Now you are a more educated human being, though, so let's be all excited about that.
I just didn't put two and two together at all. Okay, wow. Wow.
While we're talking about video stuff, are our volumes okay for YouTube Live?
It says we are.
Okay. Just no, there's no comments.
Okay.
We're all good. It's just with all of our issues, I just figured I
Yeah.
would check.
It was automatically like that. So.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So there's we don't necessarily have a moment of silence for our queen, but a moment of thought
Yes.
and education for some of us.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
The other thing, I guess I have watched a King thing. I watched the King's speech a long
There you
time
go.
ago. And the King's speech is based in like the early, I don't know if it was World War II yet, 1944.
Mm-hmm.
And you're watching and it seems very old time. You're like, oh,
Okay.
this happened 100, which it was close to 100 years ago, right?
Right.
And then you
Oh
realize
my God.
that's the Queen's father.
Oh my God.
It was Queen Elizabeth's dad. So yes, I've watched the King's speech. So
There you
I
go.
recommend the King's speech, and Nina recommends Spencer for your Queen-related movies.
Yes. I'm still in shock. Okay. I just need to like shove this down and then process it later
Okay,
because this is
all right.
a lot of
All right,
information.
all right.
Okay. So what we've been watching this week, mine is a list of things that I have watched a while ago but just haven't talked about
Okay, that works.
because I have been very busy with classes unless you count YouTube lectures. I mean, which do count.
It's streaming.
It is streaming, but I don't think anyone really wants to hear about it.
Really?
So, yeah, I'm just going to start with something that I watched that I recommend to literally everyone. You don't have to know anything about Marvel to enjoy this. It's called I Am Groot, and it's 5, I believe. It's a series, but they're divided into shorts, so they're like literally 3 minutes long. And it's Baby Groot, the little baby tree, and he's adorable. He gets himself into trouble a lot, and it's the cutest thing in the world. I have watched them all twice, which isn't saying much because they're 3 minutes, but absolutely recommend it. So adorable.
I like that.
It's
That
so
sounds like
cute.
fun. I didn't watch a lot. In fact, I'll get into what I did watch in a minute. But first, because you inspired me to share the weird thing that I did watch. There
Okay.
used to be this TV show called Brain Dead. It was actually out in 2016. You can watch it now on Paramount Plus. It's really good. It's very political, but in a funny way. It's about bugs getting into people's brains, and then they become the extreme of whatever they were.
I heard about this.
Yeah, and I love that show. I've actually watched it a few times already. Like it's only one season, so it's 13 episodes. But the theme song is actually recaps the previous episode. So he sings it different every single time. So on YouTube, I went down the rabbit hole of listening to the theme song, theme song for every episode.
That's amazing.
And they even do, because the show is canceled, they do a recap at the end of everything too. So it's
so
all
cool.
just watching theme song. I feel like I watched the whole show again. So that was fun for me.
That's amazing. That's definitely something I would do. I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah. At one point, he didn't watch the show. He goes, "Yeah, I didn't really watch. I watched Gunsmoke." Then he went into a whole thing about an episode of Gunsmoke.
Oh my God.
It was so funny.
That's amazing.
So I did watch that this weekend. It was fun.
Love that. Love it. Okay. I also watched Edward Scissorhands, which I've never seen it, before.
Really?
I know, which is ridiculous, right? I love Johnny Depp, and it's spooky-ish. I mean, it's dark. It's Tim Burton, right?
Yeah, it's Tim. Yeah.
It's Tim Burton. I mean, I'm not a fan of him necessarily, but a fan of his work. But I had never seen it before, and they just put it on Disney Plus a while ago.
Ah, okay.
So yeah, that was like, my mom's like, "Have you ever seen this?" And I was like, "No."
Sometimes I think the creepiest part of it is the unison of the homes.
Yeah, right. And it's all pastel.
Yes.
It's not really creepy. It's just like,
it's a commentary in the suburbs about keeping up with the Joneses, and everything has to be the same.
Right.
That type of thing. That's why
Yeah.
it's creepy to me, because of
that. Yeah.
from the like aesthetic point of it, what the
Yeah.
point he's trying to make.
Yeah.
As a director and all that stuff. Sorry.
No. I know. I was just feeling bad for Edward the entire time. I was like, I want to give him a hug
and not get pinched or like things cut off.
Yeah, like severed. I don't really want to do that, but yeah, I finally watched that. It's been on my watch list for a very long time. So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Good.
Yeah. What else have you been watching?
I've gone down a rabbit hole of watching Bosch. So Bosch is one of the original series, I guess, on Prime Video. And I mean, like, original meaning like 2014. So when all this was starting up, this is about the time Netflix was starting, when there was not a lot on. It was probably one of their first original series, and I never watched it. Well, sometimes in life you need background shows that you don't have to pay a lot of attention to.
I love those.
So Bosch is mine because there's 7 seasons.
Oh my gosh.
And I just had it on in the background when things were going on, and if I missed a couple things, didn't really matter.
Yeah.
Catch it in the recap. Life is good, but it's really good, and I'm really enjoying it. Like, it
Nice.
is interesting to watch, although I want to smack characters. Have you ever noticed that sometimes, like, you like a show, but you don't like certain characters?
100%.
Yeah.
Grey's
It's
Anatomy?
fascinating. Yeah, Grey's Anatomy is perfect. But what I really found interesting was there was this woman, an insignificant character on the episode, totally insignificant. And I saw her, and I'm like, it's Kathy from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She was on one episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer where Buffy was losing her mind, and she kept the toenail clippings of her roommate, Kathy. And she's like, they're growing. That means she's a demon. And everyone thought Buffy was crazy. Turns out she was a demon. And what I find most interesting about all of this was she was in one episode of Buffy, but because they really got into some of those. I don't know if you've ever watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but they have some really good episodes and very interesting topics. And so one episode this girl was in, she was never in it again. I have not seen this woman for 10 years. She's in one episode of Bosch where I basically see the side of her head. And I'm like, it's Kathy! And then, of course, I looked to make sure, and I realized how things stick with you. Because there's other people I see, and it's like, I know I've seen them before. And you look them up, it's like, oh, yeah, they were in Grey's Anatomy for 8 seasons.
Right.
But you forgot.
Right.
But I remember Kathy from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
That's so funny. That definitely happens to me more than I think about it.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Yeah, no, there was someone from, my dad was watching that new show it's not Star Trek, but it is Star Trek. I couldn't tell you what it's on. I have no idea what it is. But when Bobby Morse from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was on it, and I looked at the screen for 1 second, and I was like, Bobby! And my dad had watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. too, and he's like, what? And all I could say, I was so happy to see her because I loved her on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I was like, that's Bobby. And he's like, what? And I'm like, Bobby. I was like a child. And he's like, what are you saying? And I was like, that's Bobby Morse from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And he's like, oh, it is. And I was like,
But aren't you excited? I'm excited.
I know. I was like, but I'm so excited about it.
That was definitely me with Kathy. That's Kathy!
Yeah.
And it's weird, like, how she stuck with me.
Right.
One episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh my gosh. So funny. All right, well, we are going to take a quick break. Whoa, my voice went really high. And we will be right back. Stay tuned to Streamingverse.
You're tuned in to the Harper College Music Machine, WHCM 88.3 FM, Palatine, Illinois.
Hey everybody, it's time for today's STEM tip. Want to know how to make your selfies even better? Okay, let's use science. The best time for photos is golden hour. That's the moment right before the sun sets, when the atmosphere scatters blue and violet wavelengths, making perfect, soft, and golden selfie light to show off that beautiful face of yours. Click. Check out Chic and STEM for more inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
Welcome back. Choking on air to Streamingverse with Chris and Nina.
As I'm trying to drag myself back to the mic.
Oh God, I like drank water at like with 3 seconds left, and I looked and I was like, oh my God, and then I'm like choking. Quick reminder before we dive into the segment, very professional. The thoughts and ideas presented on this show are our own and not necessarily reflective of the opinions of WHCM, Harper College, or its Board of Trustees. Okay.
I'm having problems with the
Are you
chair
okay
in
over
here.
there?
No.
No? Okay.
I am not.
Okay, anyways. Oh, man. Okay. So last week, we got a little sneak peek into this, aka we just got excited and started talking about it. But I wanted to talk about what we watched as children, movies, TV shows, stuff like that. And last week we had so much fun because we were so confused. I was singing not veggie, fruit. That's something completely different. Fruit salad. You
Fruit
were
salad.
singing The Witch with the orange.
Oranges, oranges. Yep.
Yes. And then I got in the car with Miss Kathy. Shout out to Miss Kathy. And she was singing some Banana Peel theme song. That was H.R. Puffins, I believe. I don't...
Was it the banana splits? Or
Yes!
Was it
She started singing that. And I was like, okay. And then I went home and looked at a bunch of... I just looked up, like 2000s TV shows, and I was like, oh my God, I forgot half of these existed.
Yeah.
And then looking at the pictures, it all came back to me, and I was like, this is ridiculous. So I think we both have very long lists.
Very long lists.
So would you like to start?
Sure, I can throw a couple out there.
Okay, great.
I'm going to go way back because I used to watch a show called Zoom. Zoom was like a variety show, and it also had fun stuff like how to do crafts and stuff. So you learned how to do Miss Mary, black, like all the hand stuff.
Yeah.
And it came with a book, and I had the book. I love the book.
Ooh.
I actually looked one time to see if you could buy the book now, and it's like $100 because someone's
course.
selling their old one. But I loved it. I did everything in the book, and
That's
read about
awesome.
it. And then they came up with the new one, the new Zoom review. So they brought it
Okay.
back, and it didn't work as well. I think because in the 70s it was really about the age of PBS and educational TV and things like that. So while Zoom was fun,
Right.
it was also an educational show. But I always really liked Zoom. And then speaking of educational shows, and I just love this for the shock factor,
Okay.
there was a show called The Electric Company, and I think they brought that one back too at one point. But The Electric Company, again, was super, educational. And they would put words together like, and I can't think of what a word would be, but radio, DJ. Like one person would say it and you'd see a silhouette of their lips, and the other person from the other side would say, they'd put words together. And I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of a compound word, but never mind. And they'd each say it, it would go together.
Nice.
Morgan Freeman was in that.
Oh
And I
my
always
God.
remember when he became famous, it's like, hey, that's a dude from Electric Company. I don't know how many public television people end up becoming super famous, but
Yeah.
he probably takes the cake on that one.
Wow. Okay, well, I can go off educational. The Zoom it kind of reminded me of the show that I watched when I was little, and it was called Out of the Box. And the only reason I remember it is because the theme song, Out of the Box, Out of the Box. Don't know anything else of the theme song, but it was like crafts. It was arts and crafts,
Yeah.
and like using like old toilet paper roll, like there's no more toilet paper on it. Why did I say that so bizarre? Like stuff like that, and I don't know. I really liked that. I don't think I ever really did the crafts on it because it was more like, just watch it because I was super little. And
Right. Yeah.
I'd just watch them do it and be like, oh, that's cool.
But now you're a crafty person,
Yeah,
so maybe
now-
it's stuck with you.
Yeah, I'm really crafty, so maybe. And then this one's kind of a weird one because I did not watch this all the time. But it's kind of interesting because my parents didn't know what religion to raise us. So for like a short period of time, they decided to show us VeggieTales, and they were like, because I never remember it being about God because it's a cucumber and a tomato.
Right.
But
Bob and Larry.
yes. Oh my God, yes. I don't ever remember learning anything biblical. I just remember one episode where the cucumber is like wearing a cape and he's like a super cucumber, and there was a song and it was like a big deal, and I really liked that episode.
I could really get into
Really?
the VeggieTales. Well, my son watched VeggieTales, and I liked it because, like you said, it was religious. Like they're all Bible, except for the silly songs with Larry. Larry was the cucumber.
yes.
They were religious stories, but they did them in fun ways.
Right.
Like the whole like walking around the wall was at like Jericho, where they were walking, keep walking, and you will not knock it down. Keep walking.
I remember that song, but I don't remember any ties of it to religion.
Right. Yeah, it's a Bible story. That's
Okay.
all. It's a story from the Bible. And but my favorite though are the silly songs with Larry, and I
Yeah.
actually still have the CD. Like I have not given up the CD.
Oh my God.
And I always love, because there's a song about there's the hairbrush song, Where Is My Hairbrush?
Oh my
And there's
gosh.
also the one that's about, it's the cousin, Sabu. The Sabu is a cousin to a cow. There's a whole song about being a cousin to the cow, and the Sabu and the canoe.
Oh my gosh. It's so
Seriously.
funny listening to you say this because like I don't remember it. Like, I was so little. I was just like, oh, a cucumber with eyes and a mouth. That's not weird at all. You know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah.
And then now like hearing it, and like I like read a couple of like the, plot lines or whatever, and I'm like, I don't remember that at all. Like my little brain was like, oh,
It's just fun because they
Fancy.
bop around. They're very spongy
yeah,
in
yeah,
terms
yeah.
of the bouncing around. And just so you know, it is Old Testament, so it could either be Christian or it could be Jewish. Just so you know.
Oh.
Yeah, they didn't really do New Testament stuff. It was Old Testament stuff.
I
I actually
didn't know
applied for a job there and was rejected
that. VeggieTales?
because they were local.
They were local?
Yeah. Like Oakbrook, I think.
Are you kidding me?
No,
Are they still doing VeggieTales?
I actually kept the rejection letter just because it was on VeggieTales, paper.
That is amazing. Oh my God. Wow.
It was like a production coordinator or something. I was like, I can do that. They were like, no, you can't.
Oh no.
They folded a few years later, so.
Oh. Well, that's because you weren't there.
Exactly. So, sorry, I didn't mean to steal, but I love VeggieTales, so.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so my childhood gets weirder. Of course,
Okay.
what VeggieTales is kind of weird, let's face it.
Yeah.
I have Speed Racer, Johnny Quest shows
Wait.
that we used to watch.
No. That's not Ghost Rider, is it?
No.
Johnny.
These are, well, especially Speed Racer was like Japanese anime, and then they never really had their words like look super specific.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so, and then it would all be dubbed into English.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
yeah.
Speed Racer drove his car a lot. And
Cool.
he had his brother who had mysteriously died or disappeared. He was very tormented by this, and he had to find his brother. We had very tormented shows.
Yeah, that's intense.
And Johnny Quest was like always doing, he was like the Jacques Cousteau of cartoon world. And was always having these little mysteries under sea or something and solving mysteries. I was really thinking about, and Scooby-Doo too. So all those are animated things, and all they're doing is solving mysteries the whole time. Didn't learn a lot, but those mysteries were solved.
I think I have a lot of mysteries too.
So what made them decide, okay, people of a certain age will dig the mysteries?
Yeah.
And I don't remember how old I was when I remember Speed Racer. There was a deep discussion in my high school geometry class about Speed Racer. And all I kept, because I was a freshman in geometry, just going, this is amazing that they've got the teacher distracted talking about Speed Racer.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing. Okay, I had to keep mine like that I watched when I was pretty little, because I mean I'm 20, so like I'll still watch like Disney Channel. Like I'll still stream like Disney Channel and Disney Plus. So like yeah, I watched it in my my like preteens or whatever, but like I still watch it. If you were to turn on like specifically this Strawberry Shortcake Dreamland movie, oh my god, I would watch it. I would sit there and just like, it was so good. And not too long ago I found it on YouTube and watched it.
I could see that.
It's amazing. I mean, it's so stupid and they're so annoying because their voices are so high pitched, and it's kind of like if you've ever played Legend of Zelda.
No.
Okay.
But I understand what that is.
Like a little, there's like Navi, the little fairy, who's like, Link, the entire game, and he's adorable, but it's really annoying. So it's literally that situation. But I loved it. I also watched The Muppet Show a lot. And it was DVDs of The Muppet Show because it wasn't on air.
Right.
But my mom had watched it when she was younger, and just like the performances and the music and everything. Oh my god, I loved it. My brother and I watched it all the time.
It was a little racy too.
Yeah, because we were watching it not too long ago.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, jeez, like. Yeah,
the innuendos they got away with and things like that. It was interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of like SpongeBob in that sense.
Yes. Yeah. Muppets is kind of like a couple ones I'm going to mention too. They were actually on prime time. They didn't start like a Saturday morning or anything like that. They were actually prime time shows. And believe it or not, so was the Flintstones.
Really?
Yes, Friday nights. I forget which station it was on, but the Flintstones were on at night. Like that, and I didn't watch it, don't get me wrong. I was way too young for that because I grew up with it on Saturday mornings.
Okay, yeah.
You know, in the reruns, but it actually was a nighttime show.
That's so weird.
Which is, interesting. Another one, where's my Flintstones? No. Okay, two that are really bizarre that I just want to group together because they're so weird.
Okay.
Mr. Magoo, who was this short little man who couldn't see without his glasses, who was into mayhem all the time. He would get lost without his glasses, and all you would do is watch him like stumble into one thing or the next and narrowly avoid being killed. Which is another theme in cartoons for children, is people being narrowly killed.
Yeah.
And then there was one that I thought might be problematic by the name because I couldn't remember it. I was going with my friend Risa. We were going through a bunch of shows. She was helping me remember a bunch. Hong Kong Phooey. And I'm like, this sounds like it could be problematic, but it's a dog.
Oh.
It's a dog who knows who knows martial arts.
Who knows Kung Fu?
Yes.
Oh my god. Wait, didn't they
with a mask?
A movie?
They are.
No, I don't know if it's a movie of that, but in the theaters, there's like, and it's people are like petitioning to get it taken out because they're like, this looks so bad. It's like a dog that does kung fu. It's like Kung Fu Panda, but Kung Fu
Hong
Dog.
Kong Phooey, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah. I just
So
don't know
funny.
if it's not as problematic because instead of being like a white man playing
Right.
so
It's a
it's a
dog.
dog. So I don't
Oh
know
my
how we
gosh.
get into problematic things with that.
Yeah, I mean, there's absolutely a lot of problematic stuff, I'm sure, within these TV shows because,
Yes.
I mean, and, you know, I'm talking about them and I don't remember them that well, so I'm sure I'm like, oh God, I don't even want to know.
I wonder if they, because I just Googled it, and I wonder
Mhm.
if there is a show, but they changed the name
They might have,
because it's so problematic.
probably.
Oops, never mind.
Oh my gosh. All right, we will be right back to talk about more childhood stuff. We both have really a lot.
This is going fast.
This is really going fast.
yeah, and we have a lot.
I know, and I have a timer running, so like, I'm actually keeping track of time for once. All right, so we will be right back. Stay tuned to WHCM for Streaming Verse with Chris and Nina. If the mouse will work.
Bring it closer to the wall.
Got it.
To some, a baby's babbling doesn't mean much, but it does. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
I was listening to the radio.
Hosted by Ashley N., you need to listen across country.
Hey everyone, it's Keith Maurice.
Join Nina.
And Chris and their conversation on all things streaming.
Hey, it's Carson Starr from the Star Spotlight. You are listening to 88.3 WHCM, Palatine, Illinois.
Welcome back to Streaming Verse with Chris and Nina. Quick reminder, the thoughts and ideas presented on the show are our own and not necessarily reflective of the opinions of WHCM, Harper College, or its Board of Trustees. I should start timing myself on how
Just
fast we can
So
do
you
it.
can spew that out.
Yeah. All right, so we are back talking about things we watched as children. All right, so let's see. My gosh. Okay, I think I'm gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna. Jeez, I can't even think straight. I watched a lot of Max and Ruby, which was they were two bunnies, and Ruby was the older sister. Have you seen it?
No.
No? And Max was the younger brother, and they had like the holiday specials and stuff, so like I would watch like a bunch of that, and the little boy Max would always be like, what? Why? What? Like how? When? Where? Like that's all he would say, and I just thought it was really funny. Because I have a younger brother, so I was like, yeah, younger brothers are universally,
Gotcha.
yeah, like annoying. I don't know, I just thought it was really funny. But I watched way too much of that, and it was amazing. And then I loved Backyardigans.
Backyardigans.
Backyardigans, yeah. So it was a group of like, it's a cartoon, so there was like a pig, a penguin, a moose, but they were all different colors, and they would go, I believe, either to the treehouse or the sandbox, I can't remember, and then they would like, it was like their imaginations would take them somewhere else, and they'd have an adventure. It was so good. I mean, obviously, I think if I watched it now, I'd be like, this is stupid. But I loved it.
It is funny how some things just don't stick with you. Like you can't
Yeah.
keep watching them.
Oh, yeah.
You know, or at least you get annoyed. Like the high pitched noises, because I'm sure that appeals to kids. So they
Yeah.
went for it. But as an adult, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm mentioning this only because, and it'll be quick, because Risa's convinced lots of people like the show. It's called Davy and Goliath, and then, which was, again, kind of like VeggieTales of its time.
Okay.
But this was like in the 60s, early 70s, and it was claymation. So
Oh,
kind of
nice,
like if you
yeah.
ever saw, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, that was like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
claymation. So claymation was big back then, and Gumby was another one. Not
Gumby.
religious. Although I always think of Gumby as Eddie Murphy playing Gumby on SNL. Have you ever seen those videos?
I probably have,
They're
but
so funny.
That's the green guy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he smokes a cigar. Eddie Murphy does, not the cartoon.
Oh my god. I was gonna say I don't remember, because my brother had like a toy set of Gumby,
Oh, okay.
and I remember going in his closet and taking them.
They're mine now.
I know. I just liked them because he could stretch,
Yeah.
and I liked that.
Yeah. I always was fearful because when they got old, the metal wire in there always started poking you.
Yeah.
And that always scared me. Not scared me, you know what I mean? But you didn't want to, at some point when they got old, you're like, I'm done with this because I don't want to be
Right.
poked. I'm done. So a weird show that I watched as a kid. So there was a show called My Favorite Martian. And it
Seems
was
right up your alley.
I know. Originally an evening show, but it was in the 60s. So before I was old enough, it was on when I was 2.
Okay.
But I never watched it then, obviously. But they started replaying it in the mornings before school. So it was this black and white show. And there was already color TV when I was a kid. I'm not that old. And it was with Bill Bixby and Ray Watson. And Ray Watson, I don't know if you have ever been forced to watch Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Not yet, but I'm
Okay.
familiar with it.
He's for those listening who might not know who he is, he's Mr. Hond from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And if you've seen that, you know who I'm talking about. Anyway, so it was My Favorite Martian, where Ray Watson was, and I think that's how you say his name, was the Martian, and Bill Bixby was the guy who all of a sudden has a Martian as a roommate.
Why do I know him?
He was the Hulk back in the 70s and early 80s.
That's probably.
He was also Courtship of Eddie's father. Yeah, I think that was him. People, let me tell you about my best friend.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Funny, you sing a song and everyone's like, oh, you have a
Yeah.
terrible voice, but I know that
No,
song.
I know that song.
But I used to love My Favorite Martian. It was just a little, but again, it was a nighttime show that we got reruns in the mornings before school.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny because when I was, I don't really know. When I got to preteen age, we didn't have cable.
Okay.
So then it was just kind of movies and stuff, which anything Disney I was raised on, which is why this list I tried to kind of stray away from it, because if I was oh yeah, Brave, that came out in 2013, but I was a kid, yeah, I loved that, duh, I'm a walking
yeah.
Disney.
Yeah, poster child for Disney.
Exactly. But I had an obsession with My Little Pony when I was little.
Yeah.
And I still have a stuffed Pinkie Pie. She was the bomb. But the other best one was Minty, the green one. And she had her own Christmas special. That was Minty's Christmas something. But it was so satisfying to me, the way that their paws. So I wanted to be the pony because it was just in the snow.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's all I can remember about it. But I really, really liked those. And then right after, I stopped watching it and stuff, they made them into mermaids. Now they're mermaids and humans, and I was very confused.
Are they Transformers or ponies? Sorry, though.
Literally, I have no idea because I bought stickers for some of my little kid classes because I'm the sticker god. I have so many stickers because I love them, and then I give them to little kids, and they're literally mermaids and humans posing, and I'm what is this?
Yeah.
I'm terrified. So it's that generation, the old, not the because they had My Little Pony movies that I had that were made in the 80s, I think, and I would tolerate them, but they weren't the ponies that I liked.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And there was one. I don't think it was an episode. It might have been an episode of Curious George. It's Curious George, the monkey and the guy with the yellow brim hat.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was his name. I don't think he had a name.
Wasn't it just like the man or something
like the man
that?
with the yellow hat.
Yeah.
Which is bizarre in hindsight. But there was one where he swallowed the monkey, not the man. He swallowed a puzzle piece, and he had to go to the hospital and have it surgically removed. And
Jeez.
yeah. And when I was little, I loved that episode for some reason. Because I would like play doctor all the time and like whatever. But I loved that episode so much. And it's so funny to look back because I would like refused. I was petrified of going to the doctor and like terrified of all this stuff. But like I loved that episode. It's so stupid.
Did you ever watch Madeline?
No, but I read the books.
Okay, there was one about when she has to get her appendix out. My mom got me that one, the book, when I was little, because I had my appendix out when I was like 4 or 5 years old.
Oh.
So I always identified with Madeline,
Oh
except for I
God.
didn't live in a nunnery or anything.
Yeah. My neighbor gave me the book, and then the second I read it, I was terrified because I didn't understand the appendix. Like I didn't get it.
Right.
So then I was terrified that like something inside of me would just explode, and then I would have to have surgery, and it was so scary.
It actually is scary, so
Yeah.
be scared.
I know. I don't know why she gave it to me, but ever since then, I'm like, this is.
Because they still, like, even in adults, like, people don't pay attention, their stomach hurts, and it's like, when that puppy bursts, things go downhill fast.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah.
I had a friend who 2-3 years ago, she was having pain, so she went to the ER, and then they were taking too long, so she came back home, and then the next day she was still in pain, so then she went, and they were like, we need to go in surgery now.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't think it had burst yet, but it was like going to.
Right, yeah. And that they don't want that happening. Because
No.
it's basically no big deal of a surgery before it bursts, but once it bursts, life gets bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my cartoons is actually problematic for the world.
Okay.
Well, no, it's the Jetsons. Do you know what the Jetsons
I've seen the Jetsons.
Okay, but meaning it's problematic for the world because we were all expecting flying cars by now.
That's accurate. I've seen so many like memes that they're like,
Where's
what they
flying
predicted.
cars?
Yeah, like what they predicted for 2022 or whatever year it is.
Right.
And then they're like, actually us, and it's like a stupid invention that we thought was useful, but it's like not.
Yeah. But we have all those other things that they did on there we're doing. We have the video screens where we talk. We have
True.
the treadmill, because that's where they always walk the dog on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
treadmill. So they have a lot of things that we can use, but yeah, we still don't have any flying cars.
Which is so disappointing.
It kind of is. And hoverboards still are problematic. Like, don't they
Yeah.
explode and stuff like that? They have issues.
Oh, I think they're okay now.
Okay.
That was like when they first came out. They were like exploding in garages.
Okay.
I mean, pretty bad.
Yeah,
I haven't heard of anything recently,
that's good.
but
Yeah, I have no desire, because that's the other reason they're problematic, is because I have no balance for something like that.
well, they
so.
don't even hover. It's a Segway without a handle.
Oh, see, so there's pointless.
Did
It
you
just
think it-
pretends. I didn't actually think it did hover. No, I didn't. But I'm just saying that's our gateway.
Oh, yeah.
But you need balance. Either way, you need balance, and I can't do the balance.
You do. I watched my
Yeah.
brother almost hit the deck on one of them.
No, I didn't actually think they hovered. They're
Okay,
just
yeah.
called that.
Yeah.
Which would be our gateway to something.
Yeah, no, it's literally a Segway with no handle.
That's ridiculous. Like, I think I could do a Segway.
Yeah.
With some training. But I could do a Segway, but I couldn't do a hoverboard.
Uh,
There's no balance in me. Like, I'd be like, I need something to hold on to.
yeah, I'm not a big fan of
Yeah,
them.
but even the Jetsons, like, it should have come sooner.
Yeah.
Although it is interesting, speaking of technology and the Jetsons, the whole cell phone thing and the flip phone thing actually came from Star Trek that you were kind of mentioning earlier, because they had a communicator that they would flip open.
I think my dad has like a fake
flip phone.
Yeah, and then they advanced phones, and then now the flip phone is back.
Yes.
As like an iPhone.
Yeah, it is interesting what people don't want to let go of, which I kind of get, because not everybody wants a smartphone.
Yeah.
They really don't. They're just not into it, and they'd rather close it and just go, this is for emergencies.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people, but I hear
wish
they
I was
exist.
one of those
I know, me too sometimes. I wish I wouldn't like stop movies in the middle of them and go, oh, who's in this?
Yeah. Right. Or like, the world has to stop because so-and-so texted me.
Right.
Like, no. Oh boy. Okay. So many to choose from. Lazy Town.
Was ist das? What is that?
Like what? It was there was a they were humans, but I think it was like a Mary Poppins situation where some of it was like cartoon.
Mm-hmm. Oh, gotcha. Where it's animation with real people and stuff.
But I could be very wrong. But there was like a blue person who was all blue. Wait, I might be thinking about Doodlebops. They're the same thing in my mind because they both had pink people who were just pink, and they had like the most like plastic wigs. Like they were supposed to look plastic, and I had a friend in elementary school who like had the wig.
Oh wow.
And I wanted it really bad because it was like made out of foam. Super weird. But they would like tumble, and like that's what I took out of it. I was like, oh cool, they're doing like a round off back handspring, whatever. I was like, that's really cool. But yeah, it was just super colorful. But I didn't, and I mean now looking back at it, I'm realizing that the boy was in blue and the girl was in pink.
Ah.
And now it's making sense to me. I don't like it.
Yeah, we had to follow all the stereotypes at one point.
Oh, Lord. And then Thomas the Train. But my brother loved Thomas the Train. Like his bed when he was little was Thomas the Train. So I definitely watched a lot of Thomas the Train, which is really, it's come to help me in life, shockingly. No, it hasn't really helped me, but it came up in conversation because there's a little boy that I babysit on occasion, and he really likes watching YouTube videos of the trains, toy trains, Thomas the Train, and they just like fight each other until they fall off the table. He's a strange kid, but we love him to death, you know? The cutest kid, but he likes watching them fight. And I was trying to think of the red one's name, and I couldn't think of it. And I saw him the other day, and I was like, he's like 3. No, not even. He's probably like 2. I'm like, what's the red one's name? He's like, I think he said Nicholas. But I don't know. I really liked it. Like, I was watching it because my brother liked it, but like, I really liked it because he had all the toys and the tracks, and it was fun.
Cool. Very cool.
Okay. We should probably take a quick break again.
Yes, so let's take a break and then we can wrap up the show.
Sounds good. Stay tuned into WHCM. The mouse.
In the backyard. And in 2009, it was me, your fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when one of my embers landed on dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Hi, we're Maddie and Sam from Winnetka Bowling League. You're listening to WHCM 88.3 FM, Palatine, Illinois.
Welcome back to Streaming Verse with Chris and Nina.
Hello. The thoughts and ideas presented on the show are our own and not necessarily reflective of WHCM, Harper College, or its Board of Trustees. Do we have to have station ID? I guess it's kind of close. You're listening to WHCM 88.3 FM, Palatine, Illinois, a broadcast service of Harper College and its Board of Trustees. Wanted to give a shout out Nina, I don't know if you had a chance to check our Twitter feed, which is streaming_verse. Yes. We actually had 2 people post their the movies that they like. We were talking last week, our theme. I can remember the names of the movies they told me, but not our theme. Coming of age movies. War Games and Breaking Away. Both awesome movies. I don't know if you've ever seen
I've never seen either of those.
War Games is with I can picture Matthew Broderick. Yeah.
Okay.
It's really good. It's kind of sci-fi futuristic because it's like it was the beginning of computer hacking, so they bring it to it ends up playing global thermonuclear war, and it's real, not a game. He thinks he's breaking into a toy factory, and it's real. Yes.
What movie did that? Santa
War
Claus?
Games. War Games did it first.
I think it was Santa Claus.
Santa Claus did that one?
I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
War Games first. And then the other one, Breaking Away, it's so good. It's a cycling movie.
Cool.
And again, back in the 70s, people were really getting super into cycling, and it was an awesome, I actually really like that one too. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
For responding to our Twitter. I put another question out there today. What is your most memorable show that you watched as a kid? I use memorable because it doesn't have to be good. It can be memorable. It can be bad.
That is absolutely
it doesn't
true.
have to be good.
Oh yeah. All right.
Or just like, what did my parents let me watch?
Yeah.
I'm so confused. I can lend you the CD. No, of course, if you have Spotify, you could. VeggieTales is on Spotify, by the way.
Oh, I know. I'm not going to tell you why I know that because I don't know why I know that. But yeah.
I've played them because I love the Song of the Sabu. It just makes me laugh to listen to VeggieTales.
Oh my God, I love it.
And my future grandchild, I'm good with unless both my son and his wife outlaw all religion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good with VeggieTales because religion-wise it covers both, so we're good. I'm excited.
Yeah. I mean, I absorbed nothing from it.
Exactly. Yeah, and Silly Songs with Larry has nothing to do with religion at all. I mean, they're not. It's just some of the shows did. Like when they were walking around the wall. Keep walking. Your brains are very small to think walking will be knocking down our walls. You silly little pickles. You silly little peas. You think walking round in circles will bring this city to its knees? And
you knew a lot of that.
Did.
You knew a lot.
They're songs. I know the songs. If it's a song, I'm going to know. I can sing the preamble to the Constitution because of Schoolhouse Rock. So let's go.
Oh my God.
Let's sing it.
I don't actually know it.
No, I'm joking.
Mm.
I again got the DVDs.
I mean, I watched that episode because we watched it in class, but I didn't absorb any of it. I was like,
actually, it's on Disney Plus.
It is on Disney Plus, yeah. Also, the new Thor movie, Thor: Love and Thunder, is coming to Disney Plus tomorrow.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah, so I'm very excited to rewatch it. You should all watch it just for King Valkyrie.
Okay. That's on the list of things to watch.
Yes, definitely.
I still have to watch She-Hulk. It's just this Bosch tunnel I've gone down has kept me engaged, and I need to break away from it soon. But I definitely I've had multiple people say to watch She-Hulk, so I'm on it.
Yeah, I'm not caught up as of last week, but it is a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoy it, but there's a lot of things that I'm like, are you kidding me? Last week I was dancing along.
Aww.
Because There's an artist on it. And it was really funny. So yeah. Thank you guys for tuning into Streamingverse with Chris and Nina. Yep, that's all I got to say.
Yeah, we're back next week.
Yep, and make sure you follow us on shameless plugging. Twitter, IMDb, Letterboxd, and soon Instagram at the username streaming_verse.
Yes. Follow us, get engaged, let us know what you're watching.
Yeah. Have a good dinner.